Hello, everybody. I think I don't have to explain where I'm standing right now here. The Pyramids of Giza, one of the most impressive monuments in the world, the last remaining world wonder of ancient times. And today we're going on a day trip into Cairo, one of the most fascinating cities in the world. We're going to check out what we can see within one day. And then, of course, we're also going to take a look at the GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum, that just opened its doors, also one of the most important and really most impressive museums in the world. So here we go, one day in Cairo.
Welcome to the Plane Insider. I'm Chris from Travel Sing Fly. Here you'll explore the world's airlines up close, from economy to business and first class, filmed live on board, authentic and full of detail. You'll also discover stunning destinations across all continents and learn how to make premium travel possible through miles, points and insider know-how built over 25 years of experience. Honest, inspiring and entertaining. It's your inside view into aviation and travel. This is the Plane Insider by Travel Sing Fly. Subscribe now and let's fly.
Going between Giza and Cairo takes about 30 to 40 minutes, and if you take Uber, that's actually the best choice, I think. Especially the Uber comfort cars. They have really nice cars, well maintained, friendly drivers, good drivers, and it's overall also a nice experience because you see some of the city, you look out, that's already half the experience. And the drive is about £200, so that's the average amount of money you have to pay. Our day here at the new Museum of Egyptian Civilizations, very nicely located by a lake, and it's one of the most important and impressive museums when it comes to Egyptology and Egyptian artifacts from ancient Egypt. And one of the, or actually the main attraction is the mummies and tombs of some of the most important kings or pharaohs of old Egypt, ancient Egypt. And if you haven't seen it on TV, you should really look at YouTube at the Golden Parade. That was the parade when they brought all the mummies into this new museum. It's a fantastic, fantastic show. And now we're going to go in there, in the basement where all the mummies are, and very beautifully done.
The museum is spread over 2 levels, and as the name suggests, it covers everything that defines a civilization. The ground floor displays artifacts and scientific records of the Egyptian civilization from the ancient pharaohs until the time of King Farouk in the 20th century. But the truly special feature, and what the museum is so famous for, is located in the basement. Like in a crypt made of black stone, the mummies of the great Egyptian pharaohs from the New Kingdom 3,000 to 3,500 years ago lie here, and even arranged by families. It's essentially like a public tomb, and these are the actual mummies of the ancient rulers, which is why photography is not allowed here, and that's good. Without the distraction of smartphones and cameras, it's an even more impressive experience to see the ancient, powerful pharaohs lying there as mummies with their families, each accompanied by a golden plaque with their biographies. At the foot of the Pyramids of Giza, the world's largest museum dedicated to one single civilization, the Grand Egyptian Museum, opened in November 2025. A visit is not only recommended but practically a must, and a 5-hour flight from Europe would be worthwhile for this museum alone. In the enormous building with its spectacular entrance hall, you can admire an overwhelming collection of Egyptian art and artifacts that is unparalleled worldwide. Priceless jewelry and sarcophagi to millennia-old everyday objects, all the way to Pharaoh Tutankhamun, including not only his world-famous death mask, but his entire burial chamber. I was there a day after the opening, and you can find my report about the museum here on this channel.
From the new Museum of Egyptian Civilizations, we move on now to the Citadel of Saladin. That's the very old citadel in the city center of Cairo. Very special place. And in the museum, you need about 1 hour to see it all. You're not allowed to take pictures down where the mummies are, because in the end it's still a cemetery of kings, so to speak. And I could put my camera on blackout so nobody would actually notice when I film, but I think it's just not the right thing to do. Anyway, if you want to see pictures of the mummies and the sarcophagi, just have a look at the website of the museum. Now we go on to the Citadel of Saladin.
The Citadel of Cairo was built in the 12th century by Sultan Saladin as a strategic fortress. It protected Cairo from external threats and was also the seat of Egypt's rulers for centuries. From here, political decisions, intrigues and power shifts were orchestrated, from the Ayyubids to the Mamluks to the Ottomans to Pasha Muhammad Ali, often with brutal consequences. Like many fortresses around the world, the citadel stands not only for military power and Islamic architecture, but also for the harsh political realities of its time.
Well, the view down from the citadel to Cairo is really quite breathtaking. And one of the major monuments here is the Muhammad Ali Mosque, named after Muhammad Ali Pasha, who ended the dynasty before him with a quite well-known massacre. So after the massacre, he built this big mosque and he got buried in there as well. And anyway, the view down is really quite special. There's another mosque down here that is also an educational center. And then we have all the big towers along the Nile River. Cairo is one of the biggest cities in the world with more than 9 million people living here. And the metropole region has more than 19 million inhabitants, making it one of the biggest metropole regions in the world. Our next stop here in Cairo is the Coptic Quarter. So that's the quarter for the Coptic Christians with Coptic churches. Behind me, a Coptic cemetery. And the biggest highlight here is, I would say, the Hanging Church. Very important, very old church, I think from the 5th century. And before that, there's even yet another church. I hope we can access there too. Very special place, and of course a must when you're in Cairo.
The Coptic Quarter is the historical heart of Christian Cairo, and it feels like a world unto itself within the metropolis. Situated slightly lower than the surrounding streets, it is reached via stairs and narrow passageways. Down there, narrow alleyways, ancient stone walls and tranquil courtyards unfold, almost like a sunken city shielded from the noise of Cairo. Here stand some of Egypt's oldest churches nestled within the remains of a Roman fortress. The atmosphere is remarkably peaceful, almost contemplative. Even though it's in the middle of the metropolis, a quiet order prevails, making this place truly special. The Copts, members of the Coptic Orthodox Church, are among the oldest Christian communities in the world. They consider themselves direct descendants of the early Egyptian Christians. Today they make up around 10% of the population, yet they live in a complex reality. Even though they officially guaranteed freedom of religion, Copts still face restrictions in the construction of churches, in the civil service and in political influence. Especially outside the major cities, tensions repeatedly arise, which are rarely addressed thoroughly. Precisely for this reason, the Coptic Quarter feels like a protected space, rich in history, deeply rooted in faith, and a silent testament to how fragile religious diversity remains in Egypt. In the Coptic Quarter you will find some of the most personal places of Christianity. In the Serga church lies the crypt where the Holy Family is said to have sought refuge, the well from which Mary, Joseph and Jesus drank, and the ground on which, according to tradition, they stood are still shown. These places are not staged or exploited as attractions, but quietly preserved, and precisely for that reason they appear exceptionally immediate and touching. Not in the lower, sunken part of the Coptic Quarter, but elevated on the walls of a Roman fortress, we're climbing the Hanging Church. Founded as early as the late 3rd century, the current structure largely dates from the 7th century. It owes its name not to a floating structure, of course, but to its unique location. It stands elevated on the walls of a Roman fortress. This places it above the actual lower part of the Coptic Quarter. Today it's an important religious site, but also a popular destination for visitors. Its architecture, icons and history make it a symbol of the Coptic presence in Egypt for almost 2000 years.
After the museum in the morning, the Citadel and the Coptic Quarter, I'm really hungry and thirsty now, and we're going to a restaurant now. I think it's quite a nice restaurant we're gonna see close by the Nile River, and Egyptian cuisine is of course really very good. Old and traditional cuisine with lots of flavors and different tastes. So looking forward to that, and after that we're gonna go on a Felukka. That's the traditional motorless boats on the Nile River, just with wind as an energy, form of energy. And from there we're gonna still go to the al-Khalili market. So lots to see. And now it's 3:30 in the afternoon.
Everything about this late lunch was great except for the very strange version of Arabic coffee. You have the opportunity now to buy me some coffee and keep me awake during my long nights editing videos at home. Buy me a coffee is your chance to support my work with the amount of a cup of coffee. You can buy me one or more coffees, and you can find the link in the top right of the window and in the video description. It's even easier with a super thank. You can find that directly under the video. I would be very happy because everything here is self-funded and really expensive to produce, and unfortunately tickets for the reports don't grow on trees for me either. Thank you so much for your support.
Of course, it's a matter of taste, but for me, going on a Felukka just for an hour, just to ride on a Felukka for an hour on the eternal Nile is really an important part of a visit to Cairo. It's so nice to be here on this silent boat. Of course, there's noises from other party boats, and you hear some signaling from the streets, but other than that, the trip, I mean, sitting here is so silent, so quiet and very relaxing. And you're on a boat that was built in that way for thousands of years already, so this is really also quite special. When it comes to the price, you should actually bargain. I didn't have the energy anymore and also not the time anymore to bargain, to be honest. I was a little too late for that. Normally you would think about £400 per person, and in this case it was £1,000 for the boat. 1, 2, 3 persons, doesn't matter. I mean, of course, then it's still okay, because £1,000 is about 18 euros or $20. And I remember when I was here at COVID times, in COVID times, I paid only 200, but of course I was the only customer in the day. That has changed now. There's a lot of customers. So 1,000 is still super, super worth it if you don't have the time and energy for bargaining. After the very beautiful, quiet, even though a little overpriced Felukka trip on the Nile at night or by night, we're going now into central Cairo again, into dusty and really loud central Cairo, to another highlight, and that's the al-Khalili market. It's also a practical decision to go there in the evening because it's open until midnight, and there you can buy all the souvenirs that you don't want to carry around during the day.
The al-Khalili Bazar is not a classic market under one roof, but a historic quarter of open alleys, squares and passageways. Trade has taken place here since the 14th century, originally as a caravanserai, later on as one of Cairo's most important trading centers, and to this day small shops, workshops and cafés stand shoulder to shoulder, often organized by goods embedded in the everyday life of the city. At one corner of the bazaar, two of Cairo's most important religious sites open up, the Al-Hussein Mosque and the Al-Azhar Mosque. Both strongly influence the atmosphere of this district, even though they're not always accessible. Al-Azhar is considered one of the most important centers of Sunni scholarship worldwide, while the Al-Hussein Mosque is a significant spiritual center for many believers. It is this special mix that makes Khan al-Khalili so unique. Commerce, daily life, history and religion do not exist separately here, but directly side by side. Open, dense and unpretentious, exactly as this place has been experienced for centuries.
And we're on the way back to the airport. From Giza to Cairo airport, it takes about 45 to 60 minutes and it costs about 400 Egyptian pounds. That's about 8 euros or about 10 US dollars. And it's a quite safe and also a very comfortable way. If you like this report, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, that's really important, and leave all your comments.
There's much more behind each of my videos than meets the eye. Nothing is produced quickly or haphazardly here. That's why this channel is different. Every shot, every edit, every piece of research is done by hand with a lot of time, passion and attention to detail. If you appreciate this, then please subscribe to the channel right now, and if you would like to support me further, leave me a super thank or buy me a coffee or two with a little link on the screen. This will help me continue producing honest, independent airline reports and travel videos. Thank you so much for being part of this, because without you, much of this would not be possible.
And a really interesting report would be this one. Check it out right away. I'm Chris. Thank you for watching.